Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our April televised Board of Ed meeting. I'd ask you to all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I hope everybody had a good April vacation, and I'm happy to see that it remained intact and the snow days did not prevail. So with that, item 4, student board reps, starting with Lyman Hall. Samuel, come on up. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. Welcome.
I'm filling in for Sam tonight.
Oh, yeah.
He's on a field.
Yeah, I got that. Sorry. Oh, my goodness. You know what? Oh, Mr. Votto just said, I forgot to do, could you just, I'm sorry, I went out of order. Silly me. We need to do roll call. So I apologize. Who's here? We're all here, but go ahead.
Mrs. Castelli?
Here.
Ms. Corso?
Here.
Ms. Levesque?
Here.
Mrs. McKay?
Here.
Mrs. Purcell?
Here.
Mr. Reynolds?
Here.
Mrs. Raccio? Mr. Ross?
Here.
Mr. Votto?
Here.
9 members present and voting.
Thank you. Come on back up, Lyman Hall. The Sam wannabe.
So here are the updates for April.
Yeah, introduce yourself.
My name is Audrey Larson and I'm a 9th grader at Lyman Hall this year.
Okay, welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Thanks. So Lyman Hall currently entered quarter 4 of our school year. We're almost all the way through. AP exams will be beginning on April 30th, and we had our pre-registration meeting for students today. SAT day is tomorrow, and our juniors will be taking the SATs, and the lucky seniors get to come in at 11:30. We have an assembly for underclassmen tomorrow, and they will be hearing from David Flood, who is a motivational speaker, and they also get to go to a career fair. We also have some band events coming up. Our spring concert is June 1st. Before break, we just went on our field trip to go see Aladdin on Broadway, and we are rigorously preparing for our Memorial Day parade. Some club events that are coming up is our Student Council blood drive and both junior and senior prom. The play will be in a few weeks on May 3rd through the 5th, and our play this year is Sister Act. Spring sports are currently in full swing, and we recently won our doubleheader softball game against Sheehan, and the proceeds went to Sheehan students who were injured in the accident. We've also had a lot of unfortunate weather this season, and the coaches and maintenance team have been amazing about all the game changes and practice changes. Some of our students also got the opportunity to go to the college fair at Choate. The Ag Ed Fair is coming up on May 22nd through the 24th. Our Tech Ed department went on a field trip to New York to go see the car show in early April. And we have 2 students who had gotten awards recently. The South Central Area Superintendents Association Award went to Michaela Furman and Josh Camptuaro. And the awards banquet for arts, we have 2 finalists, Nicole Wiedemann for performing arts and Holly Ann Liao for visual arts. Thank you.
Fantastic. Always a lot going on. Thanks. So from Mark T. Sheehan, Raja. Welcome, Raja.
Good afternoon. On in April, our athletics are now well underway into the spring season. On the 9th, we had our lacrosse doubleheader against Lyman Hall. On the 18th, we had our softball game against Lyman Hall with a fundraiser for students who were injured in a car crash. We also celebrated National Library Week and National Assistant Principals Week. On the 10th, we had our summer job fair at the Hubcap. We have our school day SAT tomorrow. There will also be activities for students not taking the SATs. AP pre-registration will be on Wednesday. International night will be on Thursday, starting at 6 p.m. And on Friday, our SAT Club and the Peer Advocates will be partnering to put on a mock crash, followed by an assembly presentation. Looking on into May, our athletic postseason tournaments will start, and we will have all of our senior nights. May 3rd, we will have the NGSS exam. May 6th through the 11th will be Teacher Appreciation Week. 7th through the 18th will be the AP tests. On the 9th, we will have our spring concert. On the 12th, our junior prom, and students will have the option to sign the Safe Prom Pledge. The 16th, we have our AP Art Show at the Hubcap starting at 6 p.m. The 17th, we have our Varsity Scholars Award ceremony starting at 6 p.m. at Sheehan, and the board is invited. On the 18th, during school, we have an assembly, the Celebration of Excellence, to recognize groups in our school that traditionally go less recognized, such as our art clubs, our media clubs, and our band. The 22nd and 23rd is CNA testing for students participating in that program. On the 24th, we have Academic Awards Night at 7 p.m. The board is invited. The 25th is our senior class outing and class elections for the other 3 classes. The 31st is our Poetry Slam during school. And also on the 31st is our Music Awards Banquet at 6 p.m. at Zandri's. Next month, I'll present with further information about the May events, as well as information about June events. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Raja. Great job. Okay, presentation of awards. Dr. Menzo. Yep.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to have with us this evening a host of award recipients, ranging from academics to athletics. We're very fortunate that we are here tonight to be able to recognize these students. Our first set of awards, I'd like to call up our teacher in one of our 2 teachers in our medical careers program, Miss Patty Burkett. If you could please come up to help assist in giving out our first 2 awards to our first 2 student recipients. Oh.
She's texted me she's going to be a little late, and the other one is...
All right, so we'll come back. This spring, just that everybody knows, watching at home, springtime is very challenging because we have a lot of spring athletes, spring activities, and so we really are going to try to wait as long as we can for as many students to be recognized on camera as possible, because it really does obviously show a great level of respect that we have for them, and we want to make sure that they're recognized so that whomever's watching at home can see this, but also they get the full appreciation of the board and obviously central office. So I do know the next person is here because I see him, but I'd like to call up Scott Bradley, if you could come on up. Scott played for the Lyman Hall hockey team, and this year, congratulations, was selected as the SCC Division III Player of the Year. That's a huge honor, and if you followed hockey this year, we have the Sheehan hockey team with us tonight. We have Scott here from the Lyman Hall hockey team. It was a great season for Wallingford hockey. Both teams made every game exciting. It's very difficult as superintendent having to sit there and not cheer for either one of you, really. Until we got to the playoffs, and then I was like, then I could be like a real obnoxious fan like I am when I go to the Yankee games. But I have to say, it was just incredible to watch it, and to watch you on the ice was remarkable. You were just an incredible athlete, incredible sportsman in terms of your attitude on the ice, and your accomplishments this year is extremely noteworthy. So congratulations. Thank you again. All right, now I'm going to call up Mr. Daly, who is the athletic director at Sheehan High School. So if you want to come on over, we have several awards, and I'm going to let Mr. Daly, based on his perusal of the audience, determine which set of awards we're going to go with next based on the number of participants that are here.
Thank you, Dr. Menzo. And then first off, thank you to the Board of Ed and Central Office for giving an opportunity tonight for our winter student athletes to be recognized. We really had a tremendous season. As you can see, we have a few teams here tonight celebrating some team accomplishments and individual accomplishments. I want to thank all the students that are here tonight, especially the ones that rushed off the tennis courts and the softball field, and we'll have a few stragglers coming in from a lacrosse game. And actually, one of our coaches who's being recognized tonight too is a multi-sport coach, and he should be here soon too, coming on a bus back from New Haven. So it finally felt like spring today. That's the good news. So I want to thank you guys all for for your time coming here. I think it's important to come here and be acknowledged in front of the town and in front of the Board of Education. One thing I just wanted to say quickly in regards to all of our teams, and all the captains that are here tonight know that this is something I kind of drill into them as part of the leadership training is, you're being recognized tonight because you were successful during the season. Either you won your division or you won your postseason tournament and you had a lot of team success. And one thing that, I explained to the captains is all the teams that I've ever been a part of, whether as a player, as a coach, or as an athletic director, I've never seen a team be successful that wasn't a tight-knit group with really close camaraderie, and you guys typically, you call yourselves a family. And I think that that's what we're most proud of, is the experience that you guys gained going through the season. You call each other your brothers and your sisters, and I want to thank the coaches and the captains for facilitating that sort of atmosphere and that sort of environment for you guys to excel, because you can't have a successful team without that common purpose and those common goals, and you guys really did a terrific job this year of buying into that mentality and performing together as one. So congratulations on that. So as Dr. Menzo mentioned, I am going to shuffle the agenda a little bit. And the first team that we're going to be recognizing tonight is the boys swimming team. And I'd like to introduce and give a certificate here to Coach Keith Cargan, who's going to say a few words about the team. Feel free to talk as long as possible as we wait for our lacrosse game to end.
That's right. I was told to keep it short. I'll see if I can draw this out. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Menzo. Thank you, Mr. Daly. And thank you to the board. This is a great honor and a privilege for us to be here today. So I'll give you a quick recap of our season. I've been doing this so much lately, you'd think I'd have it memorized, but I don't, so if I make any mistakes, the boys will know. This year we were the SEC Division II regular season champions. We beat every other team in SEC Division II. We're very proud of that. At the SEC Championship, we took 6th place out of 17 teams. At states, we were 4th place out of 33 teams. We had 2 all-state athletes, 2 records were broken, and we sent 4 swimmers and 1 diver to the state open championship. So really, overall, just a tremendously successful season, and the boys and girls know how proud I am of them. I tried to drag it out. How'd I do? So now, I'm going to very slowly recognize each individual on the swim team. Great, thank you very much. First off, one of our senior captains, Alex Bowman. And I know a lot of these athletes aren't here, but I'll recognize them anyway. One of our other seniors, Adrian Gorsica. Another senior, Jake Hutchinson, who I believe is with the lacrosse team right now. One of our senior captains, Rory Logan Adams. Ryan Bell. J.D. Conti. They'll probably all come rolling in as soon as I get off the stage. Raina Esch. Maggie McComish. Joe Stone. RJ Zellner. Adam DiDomenico. Valerie Nicholson. Adam Shoshani. Zach Silvestri. Aaron Gamble. Joey Zellner. Congratulations, Joe. And finally, our Class S diving champion, and he broke 2 school records this year, Andrew Bueller. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Gotta get yours too. No worries.
Thank you, Coach Cargan. And the next team that we're going to be recognizing is the girls basketball team, which I know they're very excited to add another year to that banner up in the gym. And this year they're being recognized for winning their division, and they also had a extremely successful run in the postseason. It was 2 dramatic buzzer-beating wins to advance on to the quarterfinals. So congrats to all the girls on a terrific season. I just want to call up right now, fresh off the baseball field, as our freshman baseball coach, head coach, and SEC Coach of the Year for the girls basketball team, Mike Busillo.
Great, thank you. Yeah, like Chris said, I just ran off the baseball field, and the freshmen did well. I coached the freshmen, and we had a good game. I can't speak for the varsity. I think had a tough one today, but they'll bounce back. I just want to thank the Board of Education for recognizing us. It's a nice honor always to be recognized. Dr. Menzo, of course, who's a big fan. I see him at a number of games. You know, just over when I was driving here, it just made me think how fortunate we are. I think this is a great town. I graduated high school from Blyman Hall, and first thing I wanted to do was join the Navy and get the heck out of here. But you know, I work and coach 10 minutes from where I grew up, so I came back because I think this is a great place. So thank you very much for the recognition. And we had a few girls who were able to make it tonight. Number one is Carolyn Beal. Carolyn was one of our captains, and she's a terrific softball player. She's so good she forgot to take her uniform off. And this is Sydney Hunt, is also here, and I think she falls in the same category. She's a terrific athlete. And Sydney was also one of our captains. And another athlete, Carolyn DeGello, she plays tennis. We're very fortunate to have so many multi-sport athletes on our team.
Just read through the list of all.
I also want to recognize young ladies who were unable to get here. And one of our other tri-captain is Lexi Ocasio, Mackenzie Hemstock, Alyssa Horobin, Olivia Robles, Crystal Gallagher, Maddie Larkin, Macy Sunwald, Caitlin Hunt, Haley Lagasse, Dempsey LaJoy, and Caitlin Velez. And again, thank you very much. It's a great honor. And one of our assistant coaches is sitting over there, and that's Heather Sweeney, who also teaches at Sheehan.
Patty, in efforts to stall even longer for our lacrosse boys before I do hockey, are your kids here? Oh, never mind, they're here. Perfect. At least a couple of them. So the other team that's being recognized tonight from Sheehan is our boys ice hockey team, and as Dr. Menzo alluded to, both sides of town this year, terrific hockey programs. Congratulations on the Player of the Year, Scott. That's awesome, and we had a couple battles against you guys that we didn't want those games to end because they were so fun to watch. I want to thank our hockey players for coming tonight. I know that some of the boys are right off the lacrosse field, and there's probably a couple guys behind you washing off the black off the face, trying to get here. So I'll expect Coach Festa to read the name slowly so that they can get here in time. But first person I want to acknowledge, just like Coach Busillo, who was Coach of the Year, Coach Dave Festa was voted as the SEC Coach of the Year for hockey this year. So congratulations on that. I'd like you to come up.
Thank you. All right. Well, I just want to say a quick thank you to the board for honoring us. It feels like it was so long ago now that the weather has turned that we had probably one of our best years that we've had in the history of Sheehan, going 19-5, and our first loss coming to Lyman Hall. But for Dr. Menza, we did split with Lyman Hall, so one side won one game and one side won the other game. Yeah, it was. But it was, one of the things that we really noticed, and Chris talked about it before, was kind of the cohesiveness of the team and really kind of that family feeling that we had throughout the year. Obviously there are ups and downs throughout the year, but one of the key things, having such a strong team, there's some really big highlights that I wanted to make sure that I impressed upon you that we were at one point of the season, we were number 2 for goals for and number 2 for goals against in the state. So, certainly something that, it's a team game, there's not just one individual. But with that, we also were honored with having 2 all-state players on the team this year, as well as 4 players who ended up being honored for all SEC, SWC, 2 on the first team and 2 on the second team. So you can see that it wasn't just one person there, but it was something that made the game certainly very exciting. Luckily, a lot of the in-locker room speeches weren't made public. So as you can see, we had a lot of games where we were down in this, going into the third period, and somehow were able to pull off a victory or make it exciting. Something that as a coach you don't like to do, but it's obviously something that you can show the resolve of these kids as they come together and play. Certainly something, an experience that they'll remember for a lifetime. So thank you for everything. So as we call your name, and Jackson, as we come in, so you guys, thanks for making it today. I don't know the outcome of the score, but if you can come up when we read your name. Okay. Great hockey season. Thank you guys. It's very good. So first is Jackson Daddio. Alec Dion. Best dressed one here tonight. Alex Ficcarelli. Nick Gonzalez is not here tonight. He's, I think, testing for the Coast Guard tonight, but not here. Tyler Jackson, not here. Jake Festa. Hunter Pirelli. Mike Petroselli. Tyler Robertson, without crutches tonight. Spina. Dayton Aldridge. Next, Ethan Monroe. Remo Capella. Brendan Connery. Luke Festa. I can't call next. Oh yeah, true. Dylan Hennessy. And the last four that are not here tonight with us, Joe Ricco, Anthony Romano, Joe Romano, and Anthony Citro. Thank you.
You go.
Guys, from here down.
This is not appropriate, sorry. It takes too freaking much more time. Just text it like he didn't pick it. Photo ops.
Thank you all very, very much. Appreciate it. This, the hockey team, I have to say, you guys are characters. I have to, and I'm disappointed. Next year, if you do have an ice cream challenge, I want to be part of that. So next year, bring it on, okay? All right. But he's good. I gotta tell you. But again, thank you to all the student athletes, and also we'd be really remiss if we didn't thank all the parents and all the grandparents and aunts and uncles, neighbors, cousins, everybody that is part of helping you all be successful. Because there's a lot of practices you have to go to, especially the hockey team, the Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Club or whatever it is. That sounded really good. Wasn't invited to that either, but that's okay. Ice cream, bacon and eggs, food categories that I absolutely love. So, but next year maybe. But seriously, the parents are incredible in all these different sports, supporting the students. So we want to say thank you to them. And again, it's a pure pleasure to go to these games. It's fun to watch you guys out on the ice, in the pool, or on the court. It's a great opportunity to see all of you and to really have pride in you. And that's one of the benefits of being in a district that has has two high schools, has so many other opportunities, especially at that middle school also, because a lot of you played middle school sports, and you were able to come through the ranks. So congratulations to all of you. And we do still have, I think we have one student here. So Ms. Burkett, do you want to come on up?
First of all, congratulations to all the award recipients tonight, and thank you to the Board of Ed for inviting us. I'd like to introduce Hannah Yother. She is our HOSA, Health Occupation Students of America president. Very instrumental in organizing all our monthly meetings. Was very active in organizing our Move and Mentor program this year for our public health initiative. where we had to keep track of all the steps of our participants, and we earned 4th in the state for the most exercise keeping track of our steps. And we'll be having a meeting May 3rd with our public health town department and 2 of our public health experts from the town will be joining us in that recognition. But tonight, I'd like to announce that Hannah was a recipient of the gold medal for the medical terminology competition at the state level recently held at Waterbury Career Academy. And we commend you on that. It's a very rigorous test, 100 questions of medical terminology type questions. And you worked really hard to prepare for that. And we commend you on that honor, earning 1st place in the state medical terminology. You're welcome. Yes, and Shreya Patel is our 2nd recipient of the silver medal for medical terminology. She can't be with us tonight. She let me know today that she needs to stay home tonight and prepare for her SATs tomorrow. So we commend her on her accomplishment as well, earning 2nd place in medical terminology at the state level for Health Occupation Students of America. So we congratulate her as well.
Congratulations. I have to say that actually just Saturday when I was at my home away from home in the Bronx, we always go to this little diner and there's this waitress that we've seen grow up through high school and now she's going into medical careers. And I was telling, well, I didn't have to talk, my father always talks about Wallingford and how great it is and how great the teachers are and students are, even though he doesn't live here, but he still feels the need to tell everybody. And he went on about how, oh, well, my son's school district, they have a medical careers program and they have this thing, and he was going on and on and on. The woman's like, I've known you now for how many years and I didn't know that. And I said, well, our students are actually top-notch students and they go on to do a whole host of things in medical careers. And you're a perfect example of that. So congratulations to you and your family and best of luck as you continue in that field. So congratulations.
Yes, I just want to say on behalf of the Board of Ed, obviously we want to congratulate all of the students that we recognize this evening. And I stand here and I think about how multifaceted our students are because we're honoring them potentially for one sport, but they're coming in with totally different garb based on the fact that they're a multi-sport students. So you all do an amazing job in whether you're whatever is your extracurricular activity in representing not only your school, but us as a community as a whole. And I thank you for that, always representing us in this very mature, professional way. And Dr. Menzo steals my thunder. I too want to thank the families because these things don't happen in a vacuum. This is a commitment that families make. And I know you guys don't think about it in terms of your mom and dad and your grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles and whomever are a pain in the butt, but they're the ones that keep you motivated and keep you on track, and that's not an easy task. So there's so many distractions out there in our world today. So I thank you for your commitment to our students, your children, and making us be the wonderful school district that we are. And I just have to say, for tonight's record, the hockey players' best handshakes, hands down. So I know you guys all want to stay for this riveting meeting, but I will give everybody like a minute or two without being too disruptive. So if you want to scoot out, this is your golden opportunity.
Good luck, Ted.
Here. It's a friend of mine. The guy who's trying to. No, he's a friend of mine.
Thank you.
I had to go.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was actually.
Well, oh, go ahead. Nope, Jay, go ahead. This one, yes, everybody does. That was relatively orderly, so that's a good thing. So with that, item 6, our public question and answer period. Do I have any questions from the audience? Which our audience dwindled significantly, that's good, but, okay, I'm gonna assume there's no questions from the audience. All right, with that, can I get a motion to go into executive session for the discussion of acceptance of retirement?
So moved.
I have a first and second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. We're in executive session. Okay, we are back. Can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Second.
I have a first and second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. We're out of executive session. Item 7, consent agenda. Can I get a motion to accept consent agenda items 7.1 through 7.18?
So moved. Second.
Have a first and second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Item 8, we have no items removed from the consent agenda. So we'll move on to number 9, correspondence. Yes, Mr. Reynolds.
Yes,
You're up.
good news is we have a lot.
Yeah, we do.
We have a lot. All right, so the first 3 are from, excuse me, Chick-fil-A. The first one is a donation made to the Credit for Life program. It is in the form of lunch for volunteers valued at $1,000. The second one, also from Chick-fil-A, is sponsorship of the Leadership Academy program for the 2017-2018 school year. This is valued at $5,000. The third one will be the, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, just want to make sure. Did I make a boo-boo?
Yeah, there's 2, right?
There's 2.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
there's 2.
sure,
And
right.
there's,
Yeah.
okay, the first one's for 5,000 and the
Yeah,
second's for
yeah, I know, I'm so, and then the next one would be catering for the Chick-fil-A Leadership Academy program, again for the same year, and this is valued at $6,000. Next, we have a $1,000 donation from the Wadsworth Family Foundation to Credit for Life program. We also have a $2,500 donation from the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce to Credit for Life program. We have a $500 donation from the Ion Bank to Credit for Life. We also have a use of park and rec facilities for Credit for Life valued at $500. We also have a $500 donation, I believe it's for signs, from G&G Beverage to Credit for Life program. We have a $1,000 donation from Christopher Poronsky to Families in Need. We have a $250 donation from Shelley Nasser to Families in Need. We also have books valued at $500 from Ann Varone. Is it Lederer?
And Ron Letterly, who's...
Yeah, Letterly, okay. To the Wallingford Public Elementary Schools. We also have 2 donations from Country Flower Farms from Paul and Cheryl Schatzman for the 2015 to 2017 years. They donated seed packets valued at $6,710. For the 2017-2018 year, we have another seed packets, this time valued at $3,355. And I believe they're going to the elementary schools?
Correct, in honor of Earth Day.
Pardon me?
They were for Earth Day and for,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you. And I think that's it?
Nope, you
For
got one
our
more.
donations, but we do have
One
a
more.
thank you note.
Thank you, note.
Let's see. Let's see, I made notes and that, yeah.
So you're better off just using it.
Yeah, we also have a thank you note written to Dr. Menzo and the central office staff from the Moses Y. Beach Library in honor of Board of Ed member Aaron Corso, a book called I Can Be Anything. And the thank you note says this book will be enjoyed by and inspire many students here for years to come. We're truly grateful for your generosity. And I guess I can also, if I have another minute, I'm sure I'm speaking for all the board members that how grateful we board members are to the generosity of the community, the support that we receive from the community. So, that's it.
Okay, very good. Well said, too. It is amazing, the generosity that
Yeah.
when we read all these donations monthly, it's very heartwarming. So item 10, committee reports, starting with ACES. Mrs. Levack.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman.
Yep.
The ACES Governing Board met on April 12, 2018. The minutes of the March meeting were approved. Mr. John Prinz presented ACES with a CAPE Communication Award for the Behavior Services catalog that ACES puts out. Students from the Wintergreen Magnet School provided a demonstration to Governing Board members regarding Osmos, which connects iPads for coding purposes. An update on the progress of the Leader Hill renovation project was presented by Tim Gunn and David Klein of Silver Petrocelli Architects. Dow Realty has been selected to handle the sale of ACES properties. ACES is starting to market properties on Skiff Street in Hamden and in North Haven in anticipation of the opening of the new Leader Hill facility in August 2019. The ACES Foundation Gala update was provided. The revenue from the gala to date is $114,000, with a $74,000 of that being raised from corporate sponsorships. The monies will be used to provide funding to staff for grant opportunities. Under new business, the Governing Board approved changes to the daily rates for substitute teachers as follows. An individual with a BS/BA degree will increase from $65 per diem to $90 per diem. A daily sub with certification, $110. An individual with certification beginning the 41st day of assignment to BA Step 1, $250 per day. The Governing Board also approved job descriptions for the Project Choice Coordinator and Behavior Technician 1. The following 2018-2019 proposed budgets were approved for the 2018-19 school year. Special education schools, Mill Road Village, Village EIBI, Sales, Whitney High School East-West, Whitney High School North. Services, pupil services, extension therapy, behavior services, assistive technology, technology, transportation, facilities. Governing Board, Executive Director, Fiscal Services, Human Resources, Information Systems, Programs and Curriculum, Finance and Operations, and the ACES Institute. The overall percentage increase for the 2018-2019 budget is 1.95%. The Governing Board approved the filing of the fiscal report subject to audit, the Human Resources report, and the Early Head Start report. A curriculum and instruction update was presented by Mr. William Rice, Assistant Executive Director. Topics addressed included the Arts Integration Program at Wintergreen Magnet School, the Science Fair, and the ACES Summer Academy. Nursing needs are increasing with more medically complex students attending ACES programs. ACES RN oversight of private hire LPN staff at Village School was also discussed. Concerns were voiced regarding ACES nursing employees overseeing non-ACES nursing employees and liability implications. The governing board approved the healthy food certification with exemptions. There will be a careers and education job fair on Thursday, April 26, 2018 from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the ACES SDA building located at 205 Skiff Street in Hamden, Connecticut. The governing board then went into executive session for the purpose of discussing employment, salary, and benefits for assistant AEDs, Director of Human Resources, and Chiefs of ACES Institute and Marketing and Outreach, effective July 1st, 2018, and the Executive Director's evaluation for 2017-2018. The next ACES Governing Board meeting is scheduled for May 10th, 2018. There are 96 Wallingford students attending ACES programs.
Thank you so much. Any questions or comments? Okay. Wintergreen Magnet School Steering Committee.
So last month's meeting was canceled.
Okay.
And this month's meeting is Wednesday.
Perfect, thanks. School to Career Business Think Tank, Dr. Menzo, are you?
Our next meeting is, I believe it's going to be on May 11th. It was supposed to be May 4th, but we're going to be postponing it a week because of a conflict.
Got it. PTAC?
PTAC is May 15th, I believe.
Okay. Plan of Conservation and Development?
Nothing new.
Okay, nothing new. Okay, we're going through these. Food Service Strategic Plan? Dave?
Yes, our group, some of the things we are working on and or have completed or are still in progress, just to catch up on a few things. We're looking into an electronic online application for the free and reduced school lunch program, and we would consider piloting a school or two for next year. We also implemented the survey for the elementary parents, middle school parents, and high school students, and that is available, and I'll be talking more about that next month in the meeting with the results. We recently opened up a Twitter account, and we continue to use that on all the good practices that we're doing. I get to tweet that out. We're also working on a middle school breakfast program and working with the principals and the state of Connecticut child nutrition people with that, on the challenges and the logistics that we'll be involved with on that. And the group will meet in May, and that's what we have.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions, comments? Okay, great. I'm going to couple the stage lighting and renovation with the four-school window. I know.
Just so you know, unfortunately, Mr. Deptula couldn't be here this
Right.
evening, but we are, the projects are moving forward. I know that we're working closely with purchasing, so they're looking to finalize contracts and go forward with the staging of both of those.
Okay, great, thank you. Any questions, comments? Okay. Item 11, old business. I do not believe we have any. Item 12, instructional committee. Mrs. Purcell, you're up.
Thank you. Instructional.
I'm going Purcell. I'm sorry, Corso. Excuse me, how rude of me. Sorry, Mrs. Corso, you're up.
See, I thought you said Corso.
Oh, well.
I didn't even realize. I wouldn't have even known. Mastery-based learning update, item 12.1.
So our subcommittees for elementary school and high school met the week before vacation, and middle school meets this week. And we're in the process of taking items that were decided upon and discussed at the last district leadership team committee meeting, and they brought them back to their schools and their faculties, and we're just reporting out on feedback. Hopefully at our next DLT meeting, we'll finalize the potential revisions for next school year so that there's plenty of time to communicate those to our families, to our teachers, so that everyone has advance notice. So stay tuned.
Aaron,
Thank you. Mr. Votto.
when are you meeting this week?
We are meeting, middle school is meeting Wednesday, and then district leadership team meets next Monday on the 30th, and an invite went out this morning.
Any other questions, discussion? Okay, moving forward, item 12.2. Our graduation date and last day of school right now is projected for June 22nd, 2018. So I hope that it's safe that we can do
Yes.
this.
So tonight, you all will just make a motion to approve the last day of school, graduation, and yes.
Yes, so I'm going to make a motion to approve our graduation date and last day of school, this school year being June 22nd, 2018.
I second the motion.
Opposed? Abstention? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. A little out of order, but. Okay, item 12.3, Dr. Menzo, Superintendent's non-renewal recommendation.
Yes, in my capacity as superintendent of schools, each year I have to bring forward to you a list of teachers that would be non-renewed. This is statutorily required, so I'm just going to read basically what has been set forth for us by our attorneys each year. So it states, in my capacity as superintendent of schools, I recommend that the Wallingford Board of Education non-renew the teaching contracts of the named individuals on the attached non-renewal list effective at the end of the 2017-18 school year in accordance with the provisions of the Connecticut State General Statutes Section 10-151, and that the board authorize me to furnish written notice of this action to them. You should know that the named teachers in this document have been advised that I intend to make this recommendation this evening. If the Board of Education takes action on my recommendation, the teachers have the right under the Connecticut General Statutes, Section 10-151, to request the reasons for the Board of Education's action to non-renew their contracts of employment. Further, I also recommend that I be authorized and instructed to communicate notice of this action by the Board of Education to affected teachers and to respond for the Board of Education to any appropriate requests that may be forthcoming from the teachers or their representatives as provided in the teacher tenure law.
Thank you. So I make a motion that pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes Section 10-151, the Wallingford Board of Education non-renew the teaching contracts of the named individuals on the non-renewal list at the end of the 17-18 school year as recommended by the Superintendent of Schools. I further move that the Superintendent of Schools be directed to communicate this action of the board in writing to the affected teachers, and that the superintendent be authorized to respond on behalf of the board to any requests for a hearing, if required by law, or for other information which may be forthcoming from the teachers or their representatives pursuant to applicable provisions of the Connecticut General Statutes, Section 10-151. And that the superintendent be directed that any response for a hearing, if a hearing is required by law, indicate that such hearing is to be before the Board of Education.
I second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Discussion? No discussion. Abstention. Motion carries. Okay, moving forward. Item 12.5, approval of acceptance of retirements. So the first, I make a motion that the Board of Education accept with regret the retirement of Martha Barricato effective June 30th, 2018.
Second the motion.
Hang on one second, I just want to say something. Mrs. Barricato has been a social worker since August of 1995 for a total of 23 years of service in the Wallingford Public Schools.
If I may, Marty Barricato has given incredible support to many students and their families during her 23 years at Lyman Hall. Her ability to help students develop coping strategies in the face of all kinds of personal challenges allowed many of them to not only stay in school, but to even succeed in class and beyond their graduation well into their adult lives. In addition to supporting students in her capacity as a social worker, Marty's been the advisor to a number of clubs and activities, most notably the Student Council and the Gay Straight Alliance, therefore bringing programs that promote diversity and tolerance to the entire student body. Further, Marty is a beloved member of the Lyman Hall staff. Her natural ability to unify and engage people around a common goal has been a genuine source behind the staff's Lyman Hall pride. While it's now time for Marty to dedicate some of the time she's always given to taking care of others to taking care of herself, it's safe to say that her positive influence will be felt at Lyman Hall for a very, very long time.
And I would just like to add to that, if I may, that over the last 9 years that I've been in district, Marty has always been a go-to person at Lyman Hall when it's come to an issue with student need, family need in the community, or staff member need. She was always the first to volunteer. She was always the first to step up and make recommendations that were always in the best interest of the student and not the adults. And I truly have a tremendous amount of admiration for her and wish her the best.
Thank you. A second?
Second the motion?
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. The next motion, I make a motion that the Board of Education accept with regret the retirement of Cindy Lavalette at a date to be determined. Cindy Lavalette, or Mrs. Lav as she's fondly known, was hired as a language arts teacher in September of 1985, then an assistant principal in July 2010, and finally an assistant superintendent for personnel in July 2014, for a total of 33 years of service in the Wallingford Public Schools.
I am adamantly opposed to the board accepting this. All seriousness, Cindy, I've had the pleasure of working with again for the last 9 years, in 3 different capacities. One as a very, very well-mannered and definitely agile, I don't want to say adversary, but member of the negotiation team of the teachers union. And then I had the pleasure of being the superintendent who was able to be part of assisting her pursue her administrative career as assistant principal at Lyman Hall. In that capacity, I truly grew to understand the effect that Cindy has on everyone that she comes into contact with. And it was a no-brainer when we had the opportunity to promote her to the assistant superintendent for personnel, which not only do I feel I've been fortunate enough to work with her in a professional capacity, but just to get to know her as one of my, if not best friends, one of the best friends that I have and or ever will have. Someone who puts herself in front of others, except when it comes to ice cream and other food items. But that'll be saved for another time to talk and support her husband, who will be having many quality days with her after the school year begins. But again, I cannot say enough of how proud I am to be able to have worked with her, call her my friend as well as professional. And I just know there's a hole that we will ultimately fill over time, but it's going to take a lot. Cindy jokes and says it takes a village of men to raise and support a Cindy Lavalette. So that's somewhat appropriate. I've come to appreciate that. However, it is going to take a village of central office staff, which I'm blessed to have a great team, to fill the hole that Cindy Lavalette will leave upon her retirement. But I will not stand in her way, as much as I want to. However, I know that this is not the end of a friendship. This is just the beginning of a lot more craziness and annoying text messages that she'll be eating somewhere and sending me pictures of food while I'm trying to work. But again, I just, this wasn't a total surprise. Cindy and I have had a lot of conversations, heartfelt conversations about how certain times in our lives we have to make difficult decisions that are, again, in the best interests of us. We give a lot as educators in the classroom, as teachers, as paraeducators, as nurses, as administrators, as coaches, and at central office. We give a lot of ourselves all the time, and at some point you have to make a decision. It's time to give to yourself. And I'm happy that she's doing this, and I'm excited for her, while also a little nervous for Colin, her husband, but mostly excited for Cindy. So again, congratulations. This is going to be a long farewell, but a much deserved opportunity for success in retirement and good health.
Thank you.
I just want to say.
Yeah.
No problem. All right. Before I second this, I just want to say it's been truly wonderful working with you, Cindy, and you're really, really going to be missed, but I'm very happy for you. I second the motion.
Thank you. Mr. Votto?
Okay. I would also like to thank Cindy for all her hard work and commitment to our system. I too worked with Cindy on the other side as well when she was negotiating for the teachers, so I did get to see both roles. But regardless of what role she played, what you played, Cindy, you were always the professional. And that's something that's always come through. Well-mannered, respectful, dedicated to the job. You have probably one of the most difficult jobs in the school system because you have to deal directly with a lot of personal issues. And we've been very fortunate to have somebody who can do it in a professional way, but also with respect, offering dignity to people, anybody who has issues, and always keeping that in mind. And I think that's just another one of your wonderful traits. And you also make that easier for us, acting as that liaison to those people who you need to work with. I will miss your hard work, and you're going to be very difficult to replace. And I wish you all the luck. And let me tell you, retirement's fun. You get a snow day every day.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Mrs. McKay?
Yeah, thanks. So I was sitting here and I wrote 5 adjectives that came immediately to mind when I think about Cindy, and they're compassion, intelligence, loyalty, sense of humor, and integrity. And they really are an amazing cadre of qualities, and Cindy, you possess every single one of those. You know, when I met Cindy originally, I was a board member, then board chair, and both my sons were at Lyman Hall, and as the alphabet falls, she had my sons as an assistant principal, and having spirited young men at the time, is never easy to balance that as a board member, as a parent, as an enforcer, but also showing that compassion, and she never skipped a beat, and always found the exact right words to define the situation or define any situation and come with a cadre of solutions and ideas and ways to proceed. And both Sal and Mike, you guys said it perfectly. I mean, to replace you is going to be, it just leaves a hole in all of our hearts. And your loyalty to this district has been amazing. But as somebody who has adjusted to, though working, a kinder, gentler approach to life as we get older, I respect your decision immensely. And I say to you, you know, go and enjoy your family, enjoy your time. You've earned it. And hopefully you have great health and will be able to have many, many years of traveling and eating ice cream. That's all I can say. And cheeseburgers. You're a good cheeseburger eater. Best of wishes, seriously. We'll miss you.
Yeah, I would just.
Reynolds?
Yeah, I would just like to add, you know, so the first time I met you, that I was always impressed with your dedication, your professionalism, and your compassion. I mean, it was inspiring. And you're gonna be missed. And I just want to also, if you do get bored in retirement, I am taking applications for the head of personnel for the Grampy Reynolds Daycare Center, so.
Thank you. Mrs. Castelli?
So I've known Cindy on a personal level since her adult kids were in diapers. And my daughter used to babysit for Cindy and her husband, Colin. And I would always have to occasionally run over because I'd get that phone call, "Ma, I really don't know what to do in this situation." So I'd be running over to Cindy's house and helping my daughter out, and I cherish those memories. She's got great kids. On a professional level, you also were the English teacher for a couple of my kids. I don't remember which ones, but a few of the crew had you, and you were great. You were as great an English teacher and probably an influence on why my daughter is now an English teacher as well. And then I got to work with you as your latest role as assistant superintendent, and I got to see truly what I had always known, the most caring, compassionate person I have the pleasure of ever knowing. You are amazing, Cindy. You really, really are. And you are leaving a gaping hole in this district. But I don't want you to feel guilty about that because you have every right, to be pursuing the next chapter of your life, which is retirement and enjoying your family. And I wish you nothing but happiness every single day. Thank you so much for everything you've done for this district and for me personally. I love your Christmas cards. I know Colin's more in charge of that, but the Christmas cards are great.
I do the addresses.
Thank you. Mrs. Levesque?
Yes, so as not to reiterate some great comments, I just would want to associate myself with the previous remarks that have been made. But Cindy and I have talked, and I've known her as a teacher, assistant principal, and assistant superintendent, and all of the remarks made previously are so true. And I just wish you well in your retirement and the ability to spend quality time with your family.
Thank you. Mr. Ross?
Yeah, I haven't known you professionally for a few months, but I've known you personally for a while, and I know your family. And I admire you and your family, and I wish you the very best for many, many, many years of retirement. And congratulations.
Thank you.
And Cindy, the mom chats will not stop. So I will find you, and we'll still have those. You've been able to help me find balance, and that's a gift. So thank you.
Thank you.
I can't listen to all that. I did not plan on saying anything, but I think Sal summed it up. I do always say it takes a whole village of men to raise a Cindy Lavalette, because without my dad, my husband, my son, terrific mentors along the way like David Bryant, Tony Rotolo, Sal Menzo, without Dale Wilson taking a chance on hiring a skinny 21-year-old kid who looked younger than her students, I wouldn't have the life that I have now. At Lyman Hall is where I met my husband. I really feel like I'm indebted to this community for giving me the tools I needed to become a caring teacher, hopefully a good mom, and a professional that I can feel proud of. So thank you to this community.
Thank you, Mrs. Love. Have a second?
I second the motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Okay. Operations, Mrs. Levesque.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. We did not have an operations committee meeting this month due to budget meetings. However, we will have an update as provided, hopefully by Mr. Barone and Mr. Mencher.
Actually, the update on operations will be on Wednesday at our special Board of Ed meeting.
Okay, we'll not have that this evening. We'll have that on Wednesday.
Sorry.
Pivot.
All right, moving on. I make a motion for the approval to implement the 2018-2019 Healthy Food Certification Statement, Addendum to Agreement for Child Nutrition Programs with Consideration 1 and Consideration 2 in mind.
Second it.
Perhaps we can get a little bit of background on this, so maybe someone can enlighten me as to which consideration we are operating under now.
Should be under number 2. There's exemptions to several things that the students with the fundraisers that are after school hours, and the board has voted on consideration 2 for the last several years.
We're working off of the same, actually in your ACES report, they talked about exemptions. The standard exemptions that I would say 100% of the school districts take, it's to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a difficult position with a lot of our extracurricular activities. So we've been claiming that exemption now for the last, I want to say 3 to 4 years that we've done the Healthy Food Certificate.
All right. Is there discussion on the motion?
I just have a question. So they can't do any fundraising in school selling food?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other remarks?
But they can do it at an athletic event?
That's different. If it's, as long as it's a half hour after the school day ends, then they're able to do that. So you'll see oftentimes our parents and our booster clubs selling different things. They're, that this is what this provision allows us to continue to do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so it seems that we're going to go with making a motion to approve consideration 2, as stated below, which indicates exemption for food items. The Board of Education or governing authority will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet Connecticut nutrition standards, provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the food items are not sold from a vending machine or a school store.
Second.
Any other remarks? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Perfect. Thank you.
I just want to confirm, Mr. Mencher, just because I'm thinking that we have to make a motion for both of these, that the first one is accepting the healthy food certification, and the second one is the exemption. So if you don't mind, if the board
sure.
would take both of them, because we have to put this on record with the state.
That's
in order
fine.
to file.
We'll revert back to the original. I make a motion for the approval to implement the 2018-19 Healthy Food Certification Statement Addendum to Agreement for Child Nutrition Program ED 099.
Consideration 1.
Second.
Yeah.
Consideration 1 and 2.
Consideration 1 and 2. I originally said that, so.
Second it.
All right. But we're making it clear that we've already voted on consideration 2.
Yes.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 14, new business. I do not believe we have any. Item 15, administration report. Dr. Menzo.
Yes, I too was glad that we had last week without having to be shortened because of the weather. So I really do hope that everyone had a great week off. From what indications of today being at Parker Farms and seeing a few staff members throughout the district, it appears that people did take the heed and heeded the warning of needing to take some relaxation, and they did, and a lot of traveling and such. So that's good. I do want to mention, though, this week we hit the ground running. Tonight we have a board meeting. Tomorrow night is Spelling Bee at Moran Middle School, I believe it is.
Yep.
Wednesday night we have our
Moses
special
Pye.
board meeting at,
Moses Pye.
the Spelling Bee?
I mean, what did I say, Moses Pye? Dag Hammarskjöld.
Oh, is it a DAG? I
It's a
apologize.
DAG. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said
It was,
Moses
they
Pye.
go back and
It's
forth
DAG.
each year, so
Yeah,
it's a DAG.
DAG.
It's a
Sorry.
DAG, so I apologize. Wednesday night, we have a special board meeting at 6 o'clock, followed by the youth volunteer awards that are going to be in the town council chambers. On Thursday evening, we have our town council meeting, where we have our town council hearing of our budget. Prior to that, earlier in the afternoon, I will be at Hubcap in downtown Wallingford, where we'll be featured by the Main Street organization. We recently received a Main Street grant or an award for Hubcap and its commitment and involvement in revitalizing downtown Wallingford. So that's an exciting event on this Thursday. And then Friday during the day, as was mentioned by the student from Lyman Hall, we also will be I will be participating in the SCASA Awards, which are our superintendent awards. So we have a luncheon at Cascade, and then in the evening, we have a Wallingford Education Foundation dinner to recognize 5 distinguished alumni. Saturday, the rock and roll relay, and Sunday, I'll be kicking off the first annual color race, which is at Sheehan High School at 9 a.m. So 7 days a week we'll be here, and it's a great opportunity. This is the way the spring really kicks into full gear, and we'll start having a lot of events that are good events to really highlight the students in our school district. I do want to mention that I did have the meeting with the mayor on Friday regarding school security, and at that meeting we talked a lot about the school resource officers. We still are at a difference of opinion as to their use and their the actual deployment of police in those roles. However, the mayor has agreed to have the chief and I sit down this Thursday with one of the community officers to talk a little bit about how the job description and what we presently do and what I would like to see happen might be able to come together as a compromise. So I'm looking forward to that meeting, to have that conversation, and I can report back to the board as to where we stand with that. I think, again, not to misspeak, but I think that as the mayor said publicly at the town council meeting, the public hearing on the budget, that I think he would be in support of the board hiring armed guards, but not necessarily hiring police officers at this time, just because of his understanding of a resource officer and their commitment to first being the police officer in the community. I think I've made it clear to the board, and I think there's other board members who've made this clear also, that armed guards are not something that I personally, and just as a superintendent, but it's a board decision if you would want to revisit that. But at this time, that's not something that I would personally recommend. I still think that, again, and I'm hopeful for my meeting with the chief Thursday, that we could come to a compromise solution that could lead us down the path that I think is the right way to go, which is the school resource officers. So I will keep you posted on that. But again, the meeting was extremely thoughtful, and again, it was a good relationship, good team, and a good commitment to trying to do what's best for students. I also want to mention that we do have a security meeting tomorrow. I mentioned at our most recent meeting that we had, and in my updates to all of you, that we are bringing in some citizens who have offered their expertise to share with us a little bit about other security measures that are going on in other communities. We do work very closely with one security firm, but it's always good to get the voice of others, because we might be missing something, or they might not offer something that we think is unique or could be uniquely valuable to Wallingford. So we're going to be meeting tomorrow afternoon, the chief of police, the chief of fire, as well as myself, Mark Deptula, Karen Vey, who's going to be there, and we're going to talk a little bit about, what are some other alternatives, and I'll be able to share those with the board as well. So again, I think we're moving forward in a positive, proactive way. Everybody's been very supportive, collaborative. I think we want to be very deliberate in our next steps, and I think that's what we've been throughout our procurement of resources in the area of security for our district. I was pleased because one of our staff members' spouses is in the field of security, and I said, do me a favor, could you just send me what you feel your top 5 recommendations for a district would be? And he did, and we've done them all already. They're already in our schools, the top 5. And then he sent me some additional ones, and they're already, those actually, the majority of them are already in place, if not being considered in the latest round. But by far we had done, and I think that's really what's kind of surprised people in an appropriate way, because you don't go out on the corner and tell everybody your security measures. It's like giving everybody your PIN number. You wouldn't do that. But as people hear about what we are doing in our district, they're very impressed by that. And I think they do believe that the board took a proactive approach after Sandy Hook, and they continue to take a proactive approach. So and we continue to leverage state funds. And that's a very positive thing. We're very, very, very aggressive in getting what's owed to us when possible. So I just wanted to share those updates with you. Also on Wednesday, May 2nd, myself and Kim Moore, our World Language Curriculum Resource teacher, will be in front of the State Board of Education in the morning, presenting for their consideration the Global Competence Certificate that we are piloting as a school district. So we're looking for the State Board of Education to accept that and move it from a pilot this year into actual opportunity for all districts in a uniform manner come the fall of 2018-19. So we're very excited. As we shared at our instructional committee meeting, this has been a labor of love for, I could say for myself personally, for about 14 years now during my superintendencies. And it's nice to see it finally come to fruition. And it's being very, very appropriately and successfully received in terms of how people are seeing this as a way to really increase our students' awareness of other cultures and other backgrounds and differences in a way that allows them to expand their own knowledge and their own, really their marketability also for the future as they look at careers and university opportunities. So those are just the quick updates. If I know as the weeks progress, we'll be sending out to the board a lot of invites to awards and different activities. So I look forward to seeing you at many of those events.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can you address the Every School, Every Day program?
Oh, sure. The Every School, Every Day program, and I'm glad you said that too, because I do have 2 other donations I would have forgotten. The Every School, Every Day program was put forth by the state troopers and the police officers in the state of Connecticut to challenge and to put out to local police departments to sign up to try to get police officers into schools every single day. To stop by, at least make themselves visible to our schools. The chief immediately responded to that, and he asked me, do you think your principals would want this? That was a relatively easy answer. Yes, definitely, absolutely, go for it. So what we've done is with the Wallingford Police Department have opened our doors every day to any police officers that are assigned to the areas to stop by, to check in with the main office, to maybe take a walk around the building, internally as well as externally, just to begin to foster those relationships that we see are so key, as identified as one of the key points of having school resource officers. To develop a relationship with the police that is proactive, that is preventative, that is nurturing, in a way that is not threatening. And so we're glad that our police department, like many police departments across the state, have engaged in this opportunity for our schools.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And before I forget, I do have 2 donations I forgot last month, I think. One is for Neil's Donuts. They donated breakfast for the Credit for Life program. And the other, we had 2 anonymous donations to Hubcap that were made in support of the program.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, with that, I'll wrap it up with announcements. Monday, May 7th is our instruction committee meeting at 6:30 at our Board of Ed conference room at 100 South Turnpike Road. May 14th is our operations committee meeting at 6:30 also at Board of Ed conference room at 100 South Turnpike Road. And lastly, our televised meeting here is May 29th at the Robert F. Parisi Town Council Chambers, also at 6:30. And with that, this meeting's adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.